Okay.
So this is week 12 of session 1 for 2023. And Yeshua has asked that I do at least one open house for each class session. So I said yes, because whenever they ask me to do something, I say yes. So open Q&A. And since you're the only one here, free reading time. It is being recorded, though, so it will be posted in the Facebook.
Okay.
So just so you know, don't ask anything.
Okay.
But anything that you're okay with other people hearing.
I do have questions about still pendulum work.
Okay.
If I'm doing it correctly, and yeah, I seem to struggle, and I don't know if it's because I'm trying to control it too much or.
Well, the way that if you were trying to control it, it would either be holding it too tightly or having too short or too long of a chain.
Okay.
Okay. So as long as your elbow is resting firmly on something and your thigh is not firmly on something, because the skin will and the muscle will move. So firmly on a board or a countertop or a table. And then I do not have one with me here on the ship, but you want the chain to be about 6 inches long from the knuckle on your finger down, so that there's enough length there. So you just want to hold it gently with your dominant hand. So I'm right-handed, so I use my right hand.
Okay.
Clasping the pendulum just lightly with your thumb and letting it hang over your hand. With your elbow rested firmly, then just ask your question. Now, if you cup your hand underneath the pendulum, it will hold the energies in place. And you can sometimes get a little more definite if it's a soft answer.
Okay.
And then you have to wait 30 seconds. Yeshua says technically it's 20 seconds, but people always cut it short. So they say 30 seconds.
Okay.
Just be on the safe side. And then the only other thing is just making sure that your question is not a compound question. You know, is my cat in my room, up on my dresser, and getting into things? That's a compound question.
Okay.
Love your cat, who is on top of things, but not getting into anything.
Okay.
But some people do accidentally ask compound questions. You know, my boyfriend's mad at me. What do I do? That's not a question for a pendulum.
Okay.
But is my boyfriend interested in somebody else? Your guide, no, you don't have to. And this is so funny because so many people say, well, you have to be very specific because otherwise the pendulum will give you a wrong answer. First of all, the pendulum's not giving you an answer at all. Your guide is, and they're using a strand of energy that they're weaving down your arm. So if you're saying, is my boyfriend interested in somebody else? Your guide knows if that means, you know, they know what that means. So,
okay.
But that's a straightforward question. The problem with pendulum, even if you ask your questions very slowly and methodically and very cut and dry, there's always more to the story. And that's where creative questions come in. So you might have, you know, a yes, no. And let's say your first question gives you a yes. Well, now you've got the direction from where to ask more questions so that you can get down to the basis of it, assuming that it's, you know, something a little bit more complicated.
Okay.
Do you want to go into what your question is or what you were seeing that felt a little off?
It's mostly when I try to validate what I'm receiving after meditation.
Okay.
And I seem to receive, when we switched from, I seem to receive more during meditation. And then when we I tried to be more quiet during meditation and move towards receiving after.
Yeah. Well,
They
no,
seem to get more quiet on me.
yeah, know this. You're not receiving in meditation.
Okay.
All of that is mind's eye activity, assuming the role of your guide. So
Okay.
it does, it happens to everybody. Hi, Daphne. Hi, Jen. It happens to everybody.
Okay.
When you sit in meditation, your mind is active, and it's active thoughts, and it can be active images. It can be active words. So any words that are coming during meditation are not from your guide. They're all of them. And sometimes it's even, you need to hurry up today. Don't forget to feed the cat. We love you so much. Because the mind is learning that you are listening for conversation from your guide, and that you're listening for conversation, that meditation and receiving kind of go together. And so it will pretend. It will give you conversation that sounds like it's from your guide in meditation, but it's not. It's not.
Okay.
So anything that happens in meditation, completely disregard it altogether. Don't even write that in your logbook. Just disregard it altogether.
Okay.
Okay, we're recording already, just so everybody knows. Hi, Lori, and open Q&A until class starts. So we've got like 6 minutes. Free reading time. What do you guys, what do you have? Now it is being recorded. It will be posted in the Facebook group. So, ask something that you don't mind being, listened to from the rest of the class. Anybody?
I have another question.
Okay.
Are my abilities built in? Will I be able to trans-channel?
Oh, okay. The ability was not imprinted as a pre-birth intention. Will you be able to channel? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's already been determined. So how does it work? We're Yeshua to speak. So this is how it goes. We do not have our usual, we will grab them though. Hold on. All right. We're using just a random set of pencils. Carol likes pink, so let's make that one number 3. All right. So how does your guide know that you will be able to channel? Lori, the same for you. Dorota, same for you. Is that number 2 is dormant from the time you're born. It's not active. So if the word dormant kind of confuses you, then just understand not activated. Not activated. 1 is activated, 3 is activated, 2 is not activated. 1 is the data collector of your life's experience. Number 3 is the producer of it. Those 2 combined is law of attraction. These 2 are law of attraction. Whatever 1 collects, 3 must give to you. So you like elderly people and you love cruise ships. You might book a cruise that has a lot of young people on it, but you might notice the elderly. That's 1 and 3 combining what they do. So there you go. So number 2 is the one that awakens. Hi everybody, we're just in Q&A with Yeshua for now. This is being recorded, so please know that any questions do need to be anything that people would listen to again and again. So the question is, do I have channeling built in? And this question comes from Michelle. No, you didn't have it built in, but your guide has already done the experimental work to determine whether or not you can. So you can. So we're going to go back to this. Aspect 2 is the one that interprets for your guide. 2 is showing excellent signs of being willing to wake up all the way. When it wakes up part way, you're a clairvoyant medium. When it wakes up part way. And there's a lot of contamination in that, adding and subtracting, and sometimes just plain wrong translation. When it wakes up all the way, it's perfect. And there's supreme trust. And then channeling is easy. Your guide says all systems are go with aspect 2. It's just going to take a while to get there.
To I-495 south toward Port of Wilmington, Baltimore.
Hi, Nicole. Are you driving?
I'm in the passenger seat, but I'm on the phone. Yeah.
Okay. Great. All right. So we've got a few minutes before class starts. Open Q&A. Just chime in if you've got a question. Now's a good time to ask it.
May I?
Absolutely.
I'm super curious. You alluded to it just a second ago, but channeling built in. Did I come into this lifetime with channeling built in?
No, you did not. But you made a strong decision last year, based on intuitive information from your guide. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. That's what your guide was saying in a soft. It's almost like a soft pulse. Anytime that you were in meditation, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Now they're talking about aspect 2, waking up. Your aspect 2 shows every sign that is needed to wake up, to awaken,
Okay.
So, yeah. Pre-birth intention is an imprint. It means that you decided before you came into this life that you would do certain things. Now, the spiritual path is just one of the things that you build in. There's a lot of different things. Everybody builds in to have some level of intuition. You can't be a person without it. Some people build in to advance it or to use it on a specific thing or to make your way all the way to being a channeled person. So if you do have it pre-birth, it's built in. It doesn't mean that you find it, and it doesn't mean that you use it if you do find it. It means that it's built in, that if you find the subject interesting and if you stick with it, then it will come about easier and faster and stronger than most. But someone that does not have it built in, that's my alarm for blinking, someone who does not have it in their life intentions plan just needs to stick with it, just needs to stay with the program and keep going. Really understand silent meditation means silent meditation. And if you stay with Yeshua's training, then it will become channeling, because that's what they're doing with people. So when they're in class and they're teaching, they're also doing the vibrational work, and they're teaching in such a way that aspect 2 learns to wake up, and everybody's wakes up at a different time and a different rate and a different speed. But for everybody, pre-birth or not, when aspect 2 wakes up all the way, you are a perfect translator. When you're a perfect translator, it no longer needs to be shown in the mind's eye. It just comes out as words. And when it comes out as words, then it's a free flow of words eventually. So here we are, 7:01. Hello, everybody. This is Yeshua to Speak. We want to just say hello. There's more people on the list, but one by one, we're going to get to everybody. So tonight is week 12 of session 1, 2023. And we're going to have class. We have some visitors in class today. There's supposed to be 11 of them. There's only a couple so far, but there might be more. We want you all to know that we have everything in progress. What is in progress? Your abilities. Your guide is in the room. Some of you will feel your guide. Some of you will not. If you do not feel your guide in the room, then it's simply because the physical manifestation of it has not registered with aspect 1 yet, with aspect 1. If aspect 1 does not understand the message that's coming in from your guide, then it cannot provide it to 3. So 1 and 3, 1 and 3, 1 and 3, 1 and 3, unless it's verbal. If it's verbal, then it goes to 2, and then 2 translates perfectly into your strongest language. And then it comes out clean and clear for the length of time that you are in a channeled place. So there are some students that have been here for a while, and they've stepping in as a basic beginner and then moving through the levels, and have stepped into channeled beginner level, and they're still flowing conversation in video form, translating it into written form, and then doing self-validation to see what was channeled and what was not. And it's not all channeled in the beginning. It's not all channeled, but it sure does feel like it. When it is channeled, then it just means that aspect 2 did its job. When you're not channeling, it means that your mind is doing its job. So we're going to backtrack just a little bit and again say hello to everybody. We've got a lot of visitors that are coming in today and tomorrow. Once a quarter, we're doing open houses, and it just means that people get to step in and observe class, listen to class. We like to get everybody's attention in the beginning. And a few of you are going to feel colder in class. Your guide is doing some energy work on you. A couple of you are going to feel some sensations on the right cheek. That's your guide's way of saying, I'm here, present, and accounted for. If you do not feel a sensation on your right cheek, it does not mean that your guide is not here. It simply means that your body is not showing you the physical manifestation of the presence of the energy of your guide. So, when we do a class and we are Yeshua to speak, we like to say that again and again. Carol is what the world is moving towards. So some people have this view of the world that things are moving into a 5D category, from 4D to 5D or 3D to 5D. And we say, well, it's almost like that, but not quite. Population of the world is what it is, and it is what it has always been. But television and rock music and rocket scientists and people that have begun to explore consciousness, they all live in the world simultaneously. Media presence is everywhere and anywhere, all hours of the day and all hours of the night. The human mind was made to gather data and line it up against all of your pre-birth intentions. Gather data, line it up, gather data, line it up, gather data, line it up, gather data, line it up. And when enough data was gathered and lined up in each of the spectrums, then you would produce for yourself life experience that would allow you to take a step forward. It's like red light, green light, for those of you that remember that game. You've got one person up in front and you've got a whole row of people. And that one person up front says green light and then turns around. And everybody steps forward, steps forward, steps forward, steps forward until that person up front turns around and says red light. And if you're caught moving, you go all the way to the back and then you begin again. It's a little bit like that. It's a little bit like that. But that's forward momentum or backward momentum. Backward momentum means that you're focused on things that are not built into your life's experience and are not healthy for you. Positive momentum means you are focused on things that you enjoy, period. And they might be built in, imprinted. In any case, if you are happy and joyful, you will feel guided. If you are not happy and joyful, then you will make decisions for yourself, and some of them will work out for you and some of them will not. When it comes to your spiritual development and moving through the levels, your guide or guide team, if you have that built in, are strongly vested in the becoming of your spiritual abilities. So we like to just say unfoldment into channeling. Unfoldment into channeling. This is unfoldment preparation for some of you, and it's unfoldment advancement for one of you. Unfoldment preparation means that your guide has taken a look at what your abilities are thus far and created a plan for you to unfold, blossom, to awaken. Many people in the world say, I had my awakening January 2nd of 1983. And we say, well, no, that's not possible. Because full awakening is an ongoing life process. Once the inner mind is awake, it begins to do what it knows how to do. And then it simply advances itself. And your guide constructs an avenue or a pathway for it to get stronger and stronger in the remembering of how to do what it knows how to do. So we just go through the levels. Pre-student, it means that you're brand new. Not sure if this is something you like, but you're exploring it. Your abilities have not begun to present themselves. Pre-student. Student beginner, student intermediate, student advanced. This means you are showing signs of aspect 2, part of the subconscious mind, aspect 2 showing some sign of movement. Movement. It's like a seedling that's blossoming. There's a little bit of movement on the inside. Intermediate is a level all by itself. Advanced is a level all by itself. And then multi-level again for the channeled progress. Channeled beginner, channeled intermediate, channeled advanced, channeled professional, and that's where many will stop. Channeled experts, and that's for those that have it built into this life's experience so that they can do the thing, the exact thing that they were hoping to do. And they do identify a certain group of teachers, and they do identify what kind of thing that they will do. For example, Carol here, her group of teachers, it was known before she came into this physical life which teachers would be called in when her abilities started to present themselves. And it was built in for them to write books, simply to write books. Her abilities are what they are, and she loves to do live events, and she loves to do readings. So we've added that on. So her unfoldment from birth was movement all the way through to the channeled level, to the point where we could write fluidly dictated material, channeled material. Her unfoldment has advanced. To give a reading, you have to have your mind and your belief system quieted to such a degree that your guide can answer questions for you without your mind blocking them out and going psychic instead, and just drawing up positive advice or some advice from the memory bank that you have on your own. It's human answering versus guide team answering. So that's unfoldment number 2 for her. There's others of you in this class that have had some evaluations with us, and we appreciate that you're all here. We like everybody. We like everybody. So we're going to start with a couple of things. Daphne, you've got some life experience that has opened your mind to waking up. That's good. That means that you're in that student category, and can rise quickly. Carla, same thing. Kathleen, intermediate already. You've already gone through all of those early stages. Your inner mind is already progressed to intermediate. Jessica, advanced. Michael, advanced. Julie, advanced. And that's everybody here. How is it to walk into class and be told that you're an intermediate or advanced student? Well, it's just living life. It's just living life. Sometimes when people move through their abilities, they do it quickly, and sometimes they do not. Carol did not. It was a slow-moving train all the way until her mid-40s, and then we just pushed her abilities forward, and she hit this glass ceiling, and all of her abilities gestated until we were able to remove that glass ceiling, and then all of those abilities were on the surface. Michael, you're going to be the same way. We know that for sure. Channeled built in. So what does channeled built in mean? Well, we're going to describe a little bit. Intuition is your guide guiding you non-verbally. You don't know it, you don't hear it, you don't see it, you do not feel it, because the body doesn't know how to respond to any of the instructions. You just show up somewhere and get the perfect blouse at the perfect time for the perfect price, and there's nobody in line, and you just zip in and zip out. Intuition. You hem and haw a little bit, and you take your time leaving, and you miss an accident that you might have been in. That's intuition. You don't hear it, you don't feel it, you don't see it. We like to say that 1,000 times. You do not hear it. You do not feel it. You do not see it. Intuition is silent conveyance. And you just magically do something, not know something. You magically do something. It's life activation. Intuition is. Now, what the world calls the clairs, we, the Yeshua Collective, call ocularity. So take every clair that you've ever learned of and just identify them in one of 5 ways. All of those 5 ways are the senses that you have as a human being. Tactile sensation, aroma, taste or flavor, sight, and hearing. But they all occur in the mind's eye. Clairaudient is not clairaudient, meaning it's heard in the ear. It's heard in the mind's eye and then produced. And sometimes it's produced so clearly that it sounds like you heard it in the room, but it's still produced in the mind's eye. That's why we say ocularity, mind's eye activity. Now you have creative thinking, inspired thoughts, and you have learning and remembering by way of brain activity. That is human thinking activity. And you think in pictures and you think in words. Ocularity is all of the 5 senses. We say intuition is your 6th sense, and then all of your spiritual abilities are in the 7th sense. The subconscious mind is what we talk to when you are asleep. The subconscious mind is what we talk to when you are awake. When you are awake and thinking, then we can't talk to the subconscious mind very easily. Your mind has a position. Think of it like a radar, and it's either focused on the world or it's focused on your guide. Focused on the world or focused on your guide. And it is absorbing data. Now, it can absorb more than one thing at a time. So it's more like this. If Carol had 10 hands, we'd have all 10 of them out here, absorbing data from the world, and occasionally from your guide, from the world, and occasionally from your guide. And it goes like this all day long, 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 all day long. When you are in meditation, it slows its activity down and then positions itself to receive from your guide for a little longer and then goes back. But it's slow absorption of data, of information from the world. And because it slows down, your guide can angle it towards this conduit of communication. It is an energy cord. You are tethered to your guide. You are tethered to that higher being that is you. And that subconscious mind looks up and to the right, understands what it is that is being asked of it, and then you start to receive healing first. Energy tones that clean out your chakra system, that clean out the energy field. When the chakra system and energy field clean out, then you become nicer. Emotional balance surfaces first, and then abilities second. So anyone that is grumpy, frustrated, agitated, and calls themselves a medium, we say they're probably psychic. So we describe to you what psychic is. Retrieving memories from people. Retrieving memories from people that are still here in the world, or memories that are left floating around in the air. Psychic is not what we teach in this class. We teach ocularity and beyond. Psychic readings and psychic activity, it's verbal hits and emotional hits. And if you're giving a reading, you can train your mind to do it on command, but it's not altogether best for you. Because what you think about, you get. And if you train your mind to go psychic, then if you're in a bad mood, your mind can do it automatically and pull more bad mood to you, but maybe not even in words or images. It might just pull vibrations to you, fill up the grid, and then you start coughing and hacking because those kind of verbal, unheard thoughts manifest as any kind of chest congestion. Psychic readers are cleaned out from their guide continuously. So we don't build psychic readers. We build clairvoyant readers. We build people who can connect with people, but the ones that have moved and crossed over into the other side. Everyone has a guide. And that guide is a superpower, and they are connected with you in a very real way. There's a tethering mechanism between your energy field and their person. Between the worlds. Between the worlds, you are tethered. Where you go, they go. Where you go, they go. You lead, they follow. You lead, they follow. Because you're the one here in the physical world. You get to make decisions using the power of the mind. The power of the mind is your subconscious mind, not the brain. The subconscious mind in every person, there are three components to the subconscious mind. The first component is the receiver, the collector, the absorber, the hold on to information. Aspect 3 is the one that produces to you. So 1 collects, 2 produces. Those 2 parts of your very own subconscious mind is law of attraction. So what is law of attraction? What you think about, you get more of. What your inner mind absorbs, you will experience in your life. It is those two. It is not the universe at large. It is not a team of guides or elevated beings that shower you with wonderful things or not. And when people say things like, well, if it was meant to be, then I'll have it. We say, oh, dear one, that's just not the case. Put it out there that you already have it, and then it must come to you. But if you leave it up for, if the universe wanted me to have it, I'll have it, then you're leaving it up for chance. Don't do that. Because aspect 1 and aspect 3, they're in cahoots. One gathers data and one produces to you and shows you what you have gathered. Every topic, every emotion, every topic, every emotion. What is law of attraction? It's not out in the air. It's not out in the universe. It's not out in the cosmos. It's not some energy field that just showers you with love or not. It's your very own energy field. But there's supernatural, non-physical aspects that are built into your energy field, and everybody has that too. And that energy field is like a bubble that surrounds you. That energy field is your subconscious mind, and it has 3 major parts. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Now, if you learn from us consistently, we call them the grid, capital T, capital G, or we call it the aspects, capital T, capital A. We capitalize those things that are important for the inner mind to know. The 3 parts of your subconscious mind simply go like this. Aspect 1 is the collector of life experience. Aspect 2 is the interpreter of verbal conversation when that conversation is coming from the non-physical place. Otherwise, it doesn't do anything. Number 3, producer of life experience. 1 and 3 combine. And that's how you live your life. And we love people. And we want more people to teach about law of attraction. Because when people teach about law of attraction, then the inner mind is absorbing that data. Absorbing. Watch what you watch. Watch what you listen to. Watch what your eyes land on. Watch what you say. Watch what you think. Watch what other people are saying around you, because the subconscious mind is taking all of it in. And when it takes it in, it impacts that second aspect and its awakening. When anyone talks about, well, I had my awakening, we say you did not have an awakening, because an awakening is a lifelong process. It's a process. But there is a popping onto the surface for some. Michael will be that, Carol was that, Homer was that. Popping onto the surface. That means that abilities gestated long enough and life had its way, and you've done all kinds of things in your life, but your guide has made sure that that life intention was still tended to. And then you just have a barrier between the you, the unconscious you that has all of that learning, and then the you that wants to use it on the outside. So what do you need to do? Meditation. Silent kind. Always as a way of life. Is vacuuming meditation? No, it is not. Not for that. Now, vacuuming and enjoying it is meditation for emotional balance in general. Yes, you can get some clean out work. Now, why do you want clean out work? Well, we say it like this. If you go outside and you're gardening and you're really having a great time and you're digging in the dirt, your thighs are dirty, your hands are dirty, your face is dirty, probably your shoulders are dirty, your rear end is dirty, your hips are definitely dirty, and your feet are dirty, and your fingernails are dirty. You're filthy. And you look at yourself and you don't do anything. You just sit down and you eat. And then the next day you go out and you get dirty again. You sit down and you eat and you go here and you go there and you go to church, you go to everywhere, and you just add dirt, add dirt, add dirt. Pretend it's a world that did not have a bath, did not have a swimming pool, did not have a lake or an ocean or even rainwater to sprinkle you off. That's what your energy field looks like. It looks like playing in the dirt every day, all day, for your entire life with no bath. That's your energy field. Your energy field is filthy. Your physical body, when it's dirty, you get up and you take a bath, you take a shower, and you rinse the dirt off. You even have soap and scrubbies, and you can rinse it off, and you become clean. The external you is clean, but the internal you, your soul being is perfect. It is perfect. It's the energy field that is dirty. When we talk about the grid, we talk about energy and small cylinders that are in the energy field. It looks like graph paper. The graph paper forms around your skin. If you could see it, you would understand, but just picture a grid process all over your entire body. Those capsules are hollow. Your soul energy, your prana, your chi, your source frequency is flowing through all of those tubes, pipes. We teach it the same way, no matter who the teacher is, we teach it the same way. Hollow tubes collect life experience. And when life experience is far different than what you're supposed to be doing in this lifetime, a vibration occurs. If it's life experience that is predestined for you or good for you, then energy just flows. Energy flows. Energy flows. That's what we say. Going downstream, going with the current. When you meet up with life experience that is unhealthy for you or goes completely against what your life path is supposed to be, then a vibration occurs inside your energy field, inside these tubes of the grid. And then life gets altered. Life can also get fun that way for your guide because they get active, cleaning out the pipes, cleaning out the pipes. The more you learn about aspect 1, 2, and 3 within your energy field, and the more you learn that it is law of attraction, then you start to say, so this backache that I've had for about a year, I can heal it? And we say yes and no. You can't heal it, but your guide can. You just have to give them time in meditation for them to do it. And there's other things that you can supplement. Why do it, though? Why do we talk about that in an unfoldment class? Because the more the energy field of you gets cleaned out, the easier aspect 2 has in awakening, blossoming into what it knows how to do. And it knows how to translate verbally for your guide. We speak in tones, energy tones, energy tones. Energy tones that include conveyance of intelligence. That intelligence is sent through the dimensions from your guide to you. Direct, from your guide to you. The mind of human beings cannot translate for your guide until it can. But it can't do it until you have begun to show signs of awakening. Everyone here tonight has shown signs of awakening. Now, someone can have an interest in mediumship, or they can have an interest in spell casting. We don't teach spell casting. It's not real in this world. But what does spell casting do? It confuses the inner mind. It confuses the grid. It confuses the subconscious of the person doing it, as well as the person receiving it. So we don't teach that. We don't teach psychicness. We teach unfoldment. Unfoldment, increasing your intuition, opening you up to ocularity, and then helping you step into channeled ability. What is channeled? It is not possession. Let's just make that perfectly clear. Once upon a time, Carol was flipping through some social media things, and she came across a video. And that video was a young woman who was claiming to be a channeled person. And she said, however, I'm able to channel, but I don't do it because I won't let spirit possess my body. So I do not allow it. So I'm going to do regular mediumship instead. It's my favorite. Now we say that is categorically untrue. The entire scenario is categorically untrue. Channeled ability is advancement or progression from ocularity. When the mind of a person relaxes, when the grid of a person gets cleaner, then your natural abilities to interpret for your guide starts to present itself. You are all supposed to be guided. You're all supposed to hear your guide. You're all supposed to be in a bad situation at one time or another, tune into your guide and know where to go. Whether it's turning left, turning right, or turning back around and doing something different that day. Or that phase of life. No, this is not a great job for you. It's too stressful. It's opposite of what you were going to do. You're supposed to be outspoken, and this one is going to have you behind a computer all day long. It's not the best one for you. We would guide you that way, but people can't hear us. You've got to schedule a reading and have time with someone who claims to be able to hear their guide or your guide or loved ones or anyone else. We like you to use a pendulum for that. Because a pendulum we do approve of. So we speak a little bit about that. A pendulum is not conveyance from your subconscious mind. Now, if you hold your arm in the air and you try to use your pendulum on the fly, then yes, you can cause it to move because your arm can twitch. That's law of attraction getting in the way of a conversation that your guide is having with you using an object. Because law of attraction will present itself. If your elbow is nice and firm on a table or a board or something sturdy, your lap is not sturdy. And if you're clasping the chain gently, then your guide will tell you in very concrete ways, yes, no, not now, because your thought process might be off. Ask again later. It's an energy strand. Picture a strand of hair, a long one, starting at the shoulder, going all the way down your arm and past the tip of your fingers. Carol likes to use clockwise for yes. So that strand of energy is sent on the outside of the body, clockwise, around the arm, around, and by centrifugal force causes the chain to move with the energy. And then it is wound down below the base of the pendulum. And so it will follow the energy, the shape of the energy. Now, if you have yes and no, go back and forth, they'll send back and forth, 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 back and forth. And the same thing, the energy will move with the strand. So if you're using a pendulum, wait about 30 seconds in between each question and make sure your question is a simple yes, no, and then advance your question, advance your question, advance your question, advance your question. You can get very far indeed with that method. It is a nonverbal yet accurate way to have conveyance from your guide. Is there anything that they will not answer? No. But if you ask the questions too close together, then you can get a mixture. If there's energy left in a strand and then another strand is sent, causes disruption. Pendulum is a good thing to have. It's a good thing to use, not just have. So much so that we say have one in the car, have one in the house, have one on your person. Because you never know when you're going to really need guidance. And if you really need guidance, then you can always talk to us. But if you don't have the opportunity to stop and have a reading, then pendulum might help you out of a jam. So Ocularity. Moving from intuition into ocularity. Not a simple process, but there's not a lot of work that you need to do for it. Meditation. Silent meditation is a conveyance of your guide to the subconscious mind. Now, if you were here prior to 7 o'clock, you may have heard one of the questions. One of the questions was about pendulums and the use of it. How do I know if what I'm receiving is correct? Assume that it is correct. And then self-validate. We always teach how to self-validate using a pendulum. It advances your abilities. When people start to hear voices in the mind, and they assume that those voices are not their own, a pendulum will help you understand if it's from your guide or if it's from your own mind presenting to you. If you are in meditation and you're hearing voices, it is your own mind presenting information to you. They might be loving voices. It might sound like guidance, but if it is in meditation, it is not your guide. That's for sure. That's for sure. Logbook is a good idea. It's a good thing to have. It's a notebook. Keeping track of what your practice sessions present to you. Maybe we'll take some questions. Ocularity shows up when the grid cleans up on things relating to heaven and hell, God concept, consciousness, birth intentions, karma, right and wrong, good and bad, as well as communication in general. When someone fears communication, when someone has a hard time expressing themselves, if someone is shy and doesn't like to talk to strangers, likes to observe life and then engage, that personality trait is also used with your guide because it is communication. Communication in general. If you've got some communication issues, then those communication issues are laid upon your desire to talk to your guide. So you want to be an open communicator. You want to be a good listener. You want to be soft and gentle in your thoughts and in your ways and in your behavior. You want to take in as little violence as you can. And sometimes it is shielding your eyes from an ambulance or a scene that you don't want to take in. Can we speak to the concept of time when it comes to using a pendulum? In what way, Michael? In the time continuum or clock time? Okay. Predictions. Can you use a pendulum for predictions? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. However, do understand that there's a lot of yeah buts. So let's say that you have a desire to meet someone and you believe this person is in town. Will I meet up with this person? And maybe you are on your way to doing that energetically. By knowing about it, you can make it happen sooner, or you could make it happen not at all. So the knowing of information can affect the overall outcome. So how do you use a pendulum for something like that? It's more than one question. Will I be meeting this person? Yes or no? Is that something that will happen near term? Yes or no? Well, you'd have to define near term ahead of time. Is my energy good on this subject to meet this person? Yes or no? Is this meeting up with this person done? And when we say done, we mean your energy could falter and you'll still meet up with that person. So predictions can be, but there are so many ins and outs that you'd have to have a series of questions that follow to understand the full spectrum. There's a lot of if this, then that. If I ask this question, and we get this all the time with numbers and with money, with investments, should I invest in this? Yes, could be an answer. How much? $100. Get a yes. Should I keep investing after that? No. Is it a good investment? Yes. For how long? Well, now you've just opened yourself up to a lot of questions for how long, because it might be a good investment because you might have received intuitively, ask this question and then go invest and then divest, and you will have capitalized, but you might have to do it all in the same day. You might have to add and subtract all in the same day. So some people say, well, he said to invest, and I did. I put all my money in there, and then it's been 2 years. I haven't recouped my money. That process didn't work. It's because all of the questions were not asked. So you're not guided to look for predictions, but not as far as clock time anyway. But can you? Yes, but it's always a good idea to map out your questions ahead of time and have your yes questions and your no questions. So when you ask your initial question, if the answer is yes, I'm going to continue with these. If the answer is no, I'm going to continue with these. But here's where we say to you, that's such a novice way of going about it. When you sit and meditate and you do it as a way of life, then those questions can be answered after meditation, verbally, or have a reading. We like the question now. Everyone is meant to be guided. You did not enter this world to be here alone. You're welcome. Without help. And people, as kind as they can be, can give you advice that is the opposite of what you are needing. Maybe you need to get up early in the morning and get some exercise in. But if your abilities are important to you, then it is better for you to exercise later in the day, even if it's a more difficult situation for you. So your guide has every ounce of interest in what you have going on, but they will guide you specifically.
Right.
All right. The 3 aspects. We like to use props. We don't have them here. Carol's on ship. James to speak. We like doing these open houses. We've asked Carol to do it, and she agreed to it. We're going to let you hear from students tonight as well as us. Mackenzie.
Yes.
Let's talk to you a little bit about your energy sessions and how they have affected your ocularity and your levels.
I first of all love energy sessions. Attunements are my favorite. Not just for what they have to bring after, but really even during the session for me. It's just overwhelming of this amazing feeling. And it feels so good to hear, like, you get a lot of blocks taken care of in one shot, where if it's just me on my own, I don't know if that's happening, or I don't even know if I would be able to remove those blocks at that level. So attunements have been extremely important for me on my journey, and I've had a lot of them done. I've even been to the I Am retreat, which was like life-changing for me as well. And ever since then, I've been able to just have more of a positive life and be able to hear my guide, because that's my main thing, is to really be able to tune into him and hear more of what's going on. So I love attunements. I think they're amazing, and it just, my life is flowing easier and easier the more I move forward.
So an energy attunement, thank you. Energy attunement is chakra work. It's a different kind of reading. We do them in class, during class. The human mind can learn from people, and the human mind can learn vibrationally. Vibrationally is what we do. What people do is they talk, and what people do is they read, and what people do is they listen, and you absorb what people want you to learn. When you observe and absorb information, aspect one takes it in, the grid work of you takes it in, and the chakras are affected. When your chakras are affected, then you either feel healthier or not. When we teach in class, we always have a lecture. It always comes with fruitful instruction, but also energy behind the scenes. Your guide is doing energy, doing energy, doing energy, doing energy. The classes are not defined by Carol. She does not create the curriculum. We do. She does not know what class will contain in it. Week to week to week to week, they are ongoing classes. We like when people stick with it, because then your unfoldment comes to be. If you do not stick with it, then do stick with meditation, silent meditation. If you try to have conversations with your guide during meditation, then you are sabotaging your ability to receive cleanly or to receive at all. Attunements are a way of capturing the inner mind's attention to release its hold on negative emotion. When it releases its hold on negative emotion, you have different thought pattern, different behaviors, and your physical body can begin to heal. There is a if this, then that for every single thing that you have experienced in your life. You drive and you hit a lot of red lights. That's law of attraction. That means one that has too much delay and too much wait time. So if you have delay, if you write, if you text, and you read your text before you send it, and then you read it a second or third time, or if you read your emails 2 and 3 times before you send it, you create delay in having a conversation with your guide. Any delay in conversation. Now, we want your delays to be less, but your accuracy to be great. We want your receiving to be excellent. Janelle.
Yes.
We're going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Boy.
Symbols can be taught to the mind. It's an object in the mind that means yes or no, or closing of a topic, as Kanzetta has. So Janelle, one by one now. Yeshua is to the right of you, yes or no?
Yes.
John is to the right of you, yes or no?
Yes.
Ocularity is make-believe, yes or no?
No.
Today is Monday, yes or no?
Yes.
You heard a phrase in your mind just now. What was it?
I heard it and I didn't pay attention to it because I pushed it out of my mind because I was waiting for a symbol.
Okay. All right. So that's a student. That's a student. Now, describe, if you would, what your yeses and your nos look like and where they are.
So I receive an image of a silver spoon that comes in the center of my forehead where my mind's eye is for yes. And if I'm receiving a no, it looks like a candlestick with a base on it coming in the same direction for the answer of no. And then if the answer either is not, if it needs to be reworded or if there's some kind of cloudiness, then I'll see either back and forth or nothing at all.
Does the image ever change?
The image never changes if it's being sent from my guide.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So symbols are a quieted mind. It's an object that the mind will latch onto, as well as agree not to reconstruct and present to you. That happens in meditation. When the mind has agreed completely, then we reveal it to you and let you know what it means, yes or no. There's a few students that have had some symbols revealed to them. There's about 3 of them, another one that is on its way. We've got students from Australia, from Poland. Dorota, we're going to talk to you for a moment. What time is it where you are?
It's 1:38 a.m.
AM.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dorota's in Poland, and she joins us every Monday and every Tuesday at 1 o'clock in the morning. We thank you so much for it. But it also has helped her. Because her mind is quiet at that hour. The house is quiet, but her mind is also quiet. Now, she's occasionally sleepy, but the mind is not. That means that it has slowed down because it's the normal sleep time. So a great thing to do is take this class and then re-listen to it in the early hours of the morning, if you can. You'll get there faster. Now, sometimes that's a hard thing to do, but staying up is a little easier, and that's what she's done for over a year now. Dorota's on her way to channeled. She's stepping into it slowly. Her mind wants to be very careful about what it does before it does it. Now, Homer's mind just said, well, let's get on with it. We're supposed to be doing it this lifetime. Where do we go? What do we do? I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Because that's a difference of where the mind is. Daphne, her mind says, I'm pretty sure that my guide is the one I'm supposed to talk to above anybody. And that is true. But if you have that mindset, then you can slow down drawing people to you. And then your social life can take a hit. And we don't want that to happen. Boost your social life a little bit, Daphne. It doesn't feel like you have the time to do it, but it's better for you in the long run. It is law of attraction that is causing you to kind of slow down and shy away from people in general. All right. We have about 10 minutes left. Let's open it up for questions. We do have practice session after each hour class. It's a practice session for students only tonight, but we do invite all of your questions for the remainder of the class session. Anybody? Students and guests.
I have questions. Moving along.
Kenza.
So my question goes back to when Yeshua said earlier about hitting multiple red lights and it being law of attraction. What if like you're in a car with another person? Is it like combined law of attraction?
It is. It is. So who wins? Who wins? The one that's strongest. So you've got a pusher on the inside, a pusher. That's when aspect 1 and aspect 3 are exchanging information, 3 produces life experience. And if it produces it shy, then that person's law of attraction might come second. Whoever's push is stronger will create the experience that you both have. So, but what is that? Well, the one that's softer allows second place more often. And so it takes second place, even in something that you do not want. So if you do not want red lights and you always get green lights, but somebody's sitting next to you and they get red lights, but if outside of the whole green light situation, if you're suffering from second place, or you don't get what you want often enough, or you've got a long list of I want, and you don't have it yet, or if you're a worrier, then that other person might stop you from getting that thing that you usually get because their law of attraction or their push is stronger. But it's law of attraction no matter what. So they got what they got, but you got what you got because they got the red lights and you got delay. Because you might get green lights all the time, but you might get delay and all kinds of other things. So it just depends. Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. Mackenzie.
Is the law of attraction instant, or could you have situations to where maybe if you were having a negative moment and created something that could come at you a later time, and then you're positive, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, you just have like a negative experience? Could that be law of attraction from like a long time ago, or is that an indicator for yourself to check yourself in the moment because you have brought that in like recently?
It's never by accident. It's never by accident. Aspect one. So when we talk about the subconscious mind, and why do we talk about law of attraction in an unfoldment class? Because your law of attraction on your spiritual abilities does create your progression or not. What you think about, you get more of. And so when you think, well, I'm just not really very good at this, you will still be good at it eventually if you keep going. But if you think about how you're not doing well, or how you're not getting validated, or how hard it is to sit in meditation, those words work against you. So law of attraction is, let's just say that, law of attraction is, I-S period. What you get today is from yesterday and earlier. Can something from childhood creep up suddenly? No. But you might not have seen the signs of it coming. So let's say you like dinosaurs as a 5-year-old. And your 5th birthday party, you had Barney and you had all kinds of dinosaur things around, and you like to go to the zoo and you like to see the rhinoceros because they looked like dinosaurs. 30 years goes by. All of a sudden, you go to the zoo and you can't wait to see the rhinoceros. Why? Law of attraction? Absolutely. Does that mean that it jumps all the way back to being a 5-year-old? No. It means that you haven't seen the signs through those 3 decades about what else falls into that category. It could be horns. It could be manifesting forest animals. It could be manifesting children and children's books. It could be manifesting seeing 5-year-olds. Or it could be manifesting pets that you love, because pets and animals fall in the same category, the zoo animals and domesticated animals. So you might not see the signs, but the inner grid does. Now, if something happens yesterday in the grid and it shows up today, that just means that you reached the tipping point. So tying this back to unfoldment, we want the tipping point to be progression. So you've got accumulation. I don't know if I can do this thing called ocularity and channeled. And then you've got a slow growing accumulation of I can do it by way of cleaning the energy field, cleaning the grid, and cleaning your unconscious beliefs. When you reach the tipping point, then your validation will begin to show itself. Accuracy will begin to show itself. When you keep going with meditation and keep going with the energy work and keep going with your practice sessions, then it will inch its way higher and higher and higher and higher and higher until your doubt on what you are receiving is almost none. And then your accuracy is way up high. How long does that take? Well, that all depends on what your energy field has in it. That relates specifically to communication communicating with strangers because the inner mind believes that the guide is a stranger because they haven't met them yet. They have met them, but they haven't met them like people meet people. And because people say things like, oh, I don't know, I haven't met that person yet. I don't know, I've got that job interview, but I haven't met the guy yet. I don't know if he's going to like me. I hope they like me, and I hope when they meet me, they like me. So you've got all kinds of phrases in the world that you use. Those phrases get applied to your guide as well. So you got to reach the tipping point. How do you reach the tipping point? Energy work, meditation, classes, limiting violence of any and every kind. Yeah, we like the question. What about a life partner that you live with? How can they impact your law of attraction? Well, let's just say that they do impact it on every subject. They leave energy behind. They leave thoughts behind. They leave facial expressions behind. And if they're on occasion wanting to, they leave written notes behind, and that written note can be of anger or not. So what does your partner leave behind? And then how do you respond to it? And that's the real item for discussion. When we're talking specifically about unfoldment into your ability to communicate with and receive from your guide, then you want to have positivity around you. And if your partner does not have positivity, it will be more difficult for you. If your partner does not like what you are doing in your spiritual path or in your day-to-day path, it will be more difficult for you. Does that mean that you will not get there? No, it means that you need emotional meditation. It means that you need more quiet walks in the park without your partner. Does it mean that you do not need your partner? We won't say that as a category. We say life partners are by way of life experience, and it can have an impact on how quickly your abilities rise to the surface and how quickly they get accurate. So that's what we want to say here in closing. Abilities rise to the surface, and then accuracy does. You might hear voices and you might get a complete sentence, you might get a whole paragraph, but the accuracy of that paragraph is in the becoming. Every word may have been loud and clear, but it does not mean that every word is accurately translated. Because remember now, that second aspect is the one that needs to wake up, stay awake, grow strong in its awakening, and then position itself as upright. When it's positioned upright, then it just does that thing that it knows how to do, which is translate verbally, 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 verbally. So once it's upright, its verbal translation is perfect. But you don't know when it's upright, and that's a good thing to use your pendulum for. So just put it in 10% increments. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. You'll never get 100 and you'll never get 0. But if you're in the 10% category, no matter what you hear in the mind's eye, know that there is not a lot of validation of accuracy. Now, if it's a gentle message, then just say, hey, I've got gentle energy, gentle momentum moving forward in life. If it's a confusing message, then just appreciate your practice session and say, well, that's because I'm at 10%. Later down the road, do it again, pendulum again. Maybe you're at 40% and you skipped 20 and 30 altogether. You went from 10 to 40. Well, that was probably because of your meditation sessions combined with positive attitude. And upwards it goes, and upwards it goes, and upwards it goes. So for anyone that really doesn't like the chunking method of self-validating with your pendulum, then we just say, do it in that 10% increment. And if you got your 10% is moving quickly and then you stall out, well, then start doing it in 5% increment or 1% increment if you like to see progress, and your guide will give it to you. We've loved this conversation with everybody. We do invite you to consider classes. We do have them year round. Carol's going to give us some information on that now. Thank you so much. Whew. Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, and this is week 12 of session 1. So we do have 4 sessions throughout the year. Unfoldment into Channeling and the Art of Self-Healing classes, they're ongoing. There is no end to them. You learn and you learn and you learn and you learn, and then you learn some more, and then you get all kinds of new students in class, and then you learn more and you learn more and you learn more and you learn more. There's always different tips, tools, and techniques and activities and questions and answers and wonderful things that you can do to supplement your own learning. But the one thing that you don't want to do is remove meditation. So silent meditation, in order to step forward into your mediumship abilities and beyond, silent meditation, small increments. And those small increments are needed. They give you emotional balance. And then your emotional balance gets applied to conversations with your guide. And then you get softer, you get gentler, you get more understanding, and then you get more abilities. So I hope you've enjoyed your open house session. Students, please do stay where you are. Our practice session will begin in just a moment. So if you're interested in classes, please do consider them. There's two options, class only and then class plus practice session. And it's all year round, and you're welcome to sign up for any and all. Thank you for being here. Good night, everybody.